people seek that from friends, people seek that from other people. You're supposed to have it in your own home, in your own space. And I'm so done.
What's up, T&J Fam? We are back
with another video. Actually, this is gonna be the start of a series that Jarius signed me up for. I knew nothing about, but I am going to completely embrace it. So it is T&J Marriage Secrets, Keeping It All Together, episode 1. So we're gonna try to do this every Monday and share different things that we go through, how we kept our relationship and then marriage together, different things that we gone through. But we also want to hear from you guys. So make sure that you are inboxing us, you drop a comment below, different things you want to hear about, maybe your situation.
This is for you guys.
And let us know. But since this is our first one, we're kind of going on the fly. Jarius and I kind of talked about a few things, and we're gonna speak from experience and a few topics that we just wanted to talk about, and hopefully it relates to you guys. So,
and keep in mind, also, this is not just for the LGBT community. This is for anyone. We've been able to cultivate almost a 7-year relationship. Obviously, in gay years, that's like what, about 10, 15 years, 30 years, whatever you want to call it, the longest time. But anyway, so this can help anyone. So we really want you guys to be engaged, and we don't want to exclude anyone. So
without further ado,
let's jump right into it. So the first main topic that we're going to talk about when entering into a formal relationship with someone, or actually this is going to be like more so marriage. So the first thing that we want to talk about,
say it's a relationship too.
Okay, we can do a relationship
with anything. So with anything, what do you guys need to have before you step out onto it?
Foundation.
A foundation, a solid foundation. So Jarius, tell them a little bit about some of the key topics we're going to talk about in solid foundation.
So some of the things that we're going to talk about in a foundation is having respect for one another, even when things don't, go the way that you want it to go, when, things get rocky. Fighting fair. Like, that's so huge in making sure you guys have a really good relationship. Talking about like really hard topics and not getting like in your feelings.
Super emotional.
Yeah, like, just being able to separate, like, we're having a conversation, it's serious, but it's not like detrimental to our relationship. Making each other feel valued in a relationship. So like, these are some of the things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to go a little bit in depth in it. But first, let's talk about respecting each other even when you disagree. This, and keep in mind, guys, we're not perfect. Also, we are not relationship therapists. So please don't send your uncle, your cousin, your mama, Uncle Pookie,
if it doesn't work,
your cousin Pookie and them. Don't send them over here trying to sue me, talking about we caused y'all relationship to fail. I am not no expert.
This works for us. And you guys always ask how we made it last so long, so we're gonna share it with you.
So make sure you keep that in mind. But anyway, how do you feel like we respect one another even when we're disagreeing?
Well, okay, so I'll say for Jarius and I, one thing that we notice, and it kind of makes me cringe when other couples do it, is that we don't curse at each other. Well, in a sense,
we don't curse at all. So.
We don't call each other out of each other's names.
Right.
And I see that so often, and I think it wasn't until Jarius and I started doing it. I don't think that we've ever had that type. We used to curse a lot, mind you, but I don't think it would be like, you a B word, like, I don't know. It was just never like that.
Don't disrespect me, okay?
I think that's big. Because I feel like if you get in the habit of talking to each other like that, it's kind of like,
you can't decipher when you're being serious or when you're playing.
Yeah. So I would say that's one big thing for me, is that I feel like it levels it out that we don't curse when arguing.
I think for me, one thing that I think that we do very well also is that we really try not to like diminish the other person's feelings. So like, even though I may not agree with something that he said or something that he did, at the end of the day, if it's important to him or if he has his own reasoning and thoughts behind it and it's something that's true to him, then I have to respect that, even though we're not in the best of moments, aka when we have an argument. Like, I have to respect like that he has his own feelings and I have my own, and I would want him to respect mine. So, you know, you got to make sure that you try to find common ground and that you try to see the other person's point of view as well.
And so I guess not so much specific. So yes, respect, but acknowledge. So at least acknowledge the other person has a point. Like, and it's so crazy because it almost makes you want to laugh, which I think helps in arguments too. Because it almost sounds like a counseling session.
But you know what, Terrell be getting on my nerves because he be like, you can tell when he's like trying to like bring down the level of intensity of an argument, because he'll just start smiling, and like it really does help though, because then like it takes the edge off. So,
it can go one of two ways. It can annoy the other person, or it can make light of it. So Jarius and I did do premarital counseling before we got married, and so like in an intense argument, it's just like, I acknowledge that you feel that I did this.
Mm-hmm. And then he starts doing that.
And so it's just like super funny to go into it with that, because he'll start laughing because it sounds so scripted. But it really does help.
Take the edge off. Yeah.
So that's what I would say, how you respect each other during difficult times and arguments. That would be our tidbit.
And that kind of leads into the next point. Like, even when you are arguing, fight fair. Don't be hitting below the belt and like trying to hurt your partner. Because at the end, and y'all, I hate, Terrell knows this, I hate using the word partner, especially like in gay relationships, because it's just like, that's my husband.
Partner.
Like, I hate when people be like, because it makes it seem separate. Like, it makes it seem, oh, like, is that your partner? No, that's my husband. Like, I don't know. It just kind of made me cringe when
just like calling me his
heterosexual people would be like, oh, is that your partner? Like, no, girl, that's my husband. But anyway, no, like, just fighting fair.
Tangent.
Like, I know. But fighting fair with each other, like, you know, don't go below the belt. Like, if we're having a disagreement, don't go to, like, try to hurt me just so that you can win an argument. Like, you know, if for instance, if I go and we're having an argument and clearly I'm not getting the best of Terrell in this argument, but then I'm going to go and throw an insecurity at him to try to shift things back in my favor, that is a big no.
In your relationship, now, out in these streets, these words that come out my mouth cut deep. I'd be getting them together, you hear me?
Terry,
all bets are off.
You get them together?
All bets are off. See, I'm quick. Don't get in no argument match with me, because I'm real quick.
So, and then, you know, the good thing about our relationship is that Terrell is the one who will read you to your grave, and then I'll follow up behind you and ask, now, what you gonna do?
Boy.
It's a perfect 1-2 punch.
But no, so in all seriousness, I think that fighting fair is really important, because it all goes back to that other person's feelings. And I think that it shows the level of respect that you have for who you're with, how you handle an argument, and how you get mad. So I think, you know, like he said, throwing insecurities up, bringing up super old things, which kind of brings us into our next point, but bringing up old situations that weren't resolved, to kind of make yourself, again, feeling like when you're arguing, it's about who has the power and who has control. Right. Keep in mind that the end game is to find a resolution and to move past it.
And it's not about who has power or control. Like, the point of an argument is to work through an issue. And really, it should be a discussion. It shouldn't be an argument. But
sometimes,
you know,
arguments are necessary.
It is, but like, really, for the most part, you should be having healthy discussions.
Yeah.
But anyway, that, like Terrell said, that leads us into the next point, which is, you know, accepting that your partner is not going to be perfect. So again, I say this all the time. Before I met Terrell had 18 years without me. Like, you had your own 18 years of your own thoughts, your opinions, like your own values and what was important to him. And then it's like, I came in and I'm just like, I have my own set of thoughts, opinions, and things like that. And now I'm going to try to mold him.
Trying to change me.
Now, don't get me wrong. In a marriage, I do feel like you have to do some training.
I'm here thinking about married to medicine. You ain't perfect, Cecil.
You do have to do some training in your relationship. Now, you know, you got to crack that whip out every once in a while and teach you how to love me. That's the difference. I can't change him, but I can teach you. Ooh, I cannot teach you how to be a good man or a good spouse yourself.
Your parents should have did that.
Your mama and your daddy should have did that.
That's for another topic. Come on.
But anyway, but I can teach you how to love me. But don't go into it with the expectation that if you see that this person has a cracked foundation and that this person, you are not morally together on the same page,
you ain't about
to change. You ain't about to come up and change nothing.
You are not Bob the Builder. And I feel like people have to be able to accept that people aren't going to change because you want them to change. They have to want to change. And I just feel like you just got to know when to let it go. You got to cut ties.
Like Terrell be doing. Oh, actually, you get that from Zoe.
You got to cut ties. So that brings us into our next point, being able to talk about tough topics. So as you can tell, a lot of relationships are built on communication. So talking through tough topics kind of goes back to my point about being able to, whenever you're in an argument, not bringing up old scenarios, old situations, old arguments to kind of help better your case in this argument. So I'm a big person about, hey, if it's an issue, we need to talk about it right now. I feel like when people let things linger, or if you don't feel comfortable enough to talk about a situation with the person that you're with, I feel like that's the issue. I don't feel like it's not anything that I shouldn't and couldn't talk to Jarius about. I do.
It's a time and a place.
Being that I've been with him forever, do I know his potential reactions to things? Yes. But I can talk to him about anything.
You know exactly what my reaction gonna be.
And I feel like being able to talk about different topics also helps you feel better too, because you don't want to harbor in anything that's bothering you, and then consistently let it build up. Because once it does overflow and build up, it becomes a catastrophe.
And you know what people love to do, babe? They love to go to bed replaying the argument through their head and then wake up the next day talking about, ooh, you know what, I should have said this, or ooh, I remember when he did that. Let me go back and let me pick this argument up in the morning because I got a few more things.
Now I don't pick the argument up in the morning. No, I will say that I'm a little guilty after we didn't have an argument.
And
I'll be laying in that bed and I'll just be thinking, I'll be like, ooh, I should have said this.
I'll be doing the same thing too. But you know,
I'll be like, ooh, you know what? He did this and I didn't even bring that up. And I'll be wanting to tap you on your shoulder and be like, you know, I'm over the argument. But I do want to let you know that this, and this.
You are Terrell is so shady.
Have y'all ever seen that that meme with the leprechaun? And it was just like when you're not done with the argument and he follows you into the next room. And one more thing. That's how I am. I'm like, hold on. Like, I'm not done. But no, I would say that I definitely think that it's beneficial to be able to get things off my chest rather than let it build up, because I feel like that's when like major arguments happen. I feel like Jarius and I do a really good job with, if a situation happens, of course you should be able to take your time to digest it and interpret it, you know, in your own time. I wouldn't say don't go to bed thinking about it or don't go to bed mad. I feel like handle it that day. But it's been many situations when Jarius and I have gone into separate rooms for a little while and then come back. Because you have to have
a cooling period, because sometimes you can get into the heat of things, into the thick of things, and you may say something that like you
can't take back.
Exactly. And sometimes, like, now I do agree with this, when you are pissed and when you are mad, like, typically when you say something, it is because like deep down there is some truth to it. However, I do feel like when you're in the heat of an argument, because sometimes you do have a natural tendency to defend yourself, that you may say something that, like, you don't necessarily mean, or that you could have possibly said in a different way. So that kind of wraps up that subtopic. But the next thing is talking about like understanding your need to communicate, or the way that you want to communicate. Like with me, I am so I can be a very big personality and I can be a lot to deal with sometimes. And when me and Terrell first got into our relationship, I was this big ball of everything. Like I was very, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, like I was very angry, I had a lot of things built up that I needed to deal with, and that spilled over to Terrell, meaning that like I would just get super mad.
I matched him.
You didn't.
Jarius was here and I was here, and he just kept, and I was just like, well, let me come up here then, cause it seemed to have a lot going on up here.
But like I used to get so mad, and I think that I changed Terrell because he loved me and he had to adapt to how I was treating him, and then we had to work through like figuring out our new way of being. But like, you have to really understand the way that your partner wants to communicate. Because I'm that big ball of energy, or I can be with everyone else, when I come to Terrell, I'm super sensitive because I can't be that way with him. That's my spouse. So like I'm very, very much so toned down when it comes to him, and because of that, I often wear my feelings on my shoulder, on my sleeve. That's how you say it? Yeah, on your sleeve. Like I wear my feelings on my sleeve because
every little thing hurt his feelings.
Because
it's a personal attack on his character and everything. But that's part of knowing how he is and how to communicate and the connection that we have. And I feel like that's important. Would I prefer it to be different? Yes. But with being with him, and you know, as long as we've been together, I feel like it's important for you and for everyone to learn those different communication styles, and because some people can be very like blunt and very outspoken, and people don't respond that way. And I feel like that's one of the things where Jarius says, I can teach you how to love me. I feel like that's one of the things that you should change. I don't ever feel like you should get into a relationship and change the core of who you are, because you're that's what makes you you. But I do feel like if you want your relationship to work, you do have to compromise and change up a little bit of like communication styles and things that you do to make your partner feel more comfortable.
100% agree. Next thing is making each other feel valued. What's the point of being in a relationship with somebody, especially a long-term relationship, if that person doesn't see the value that you have? Every single person in this world has a particular set of skills that they have that no one else has. Everyone has like something that's valuable about them, and you have to, as my spouse, as my partner, you have to be able to recognize and acknowledge that. You have to build me up. Like I'm already like you. Of course, I do feel like you have to have like self-awareness, and you have to like love yourself. But at the same time, it's up to you to build me up as well. We're supposed to build each other up. Where I lack, you build for me, and where you lack, I do the same. So I feel like acknowledging my worth is always good to help feed me. Do you agree with that?
I do. And I feel like even showing, I feel like appreciation is a big thing. I feel like where a lot of people mess up is they take things for granted, and things are always more, what's the word that I'm looking for?
I'm not sure.
When you don't have it, it looks more appealing to you. You know, and I feel like, I think Jarius does a really good job, and I think we both do. Whether it's just like simple things, like I've been around some people who will, you know, make dinner or go buy food, and it's not even like a thank you. It's not like, you know, you did a really good job in doing this. I feel like you have to be your partner's biggest supporter and biggest fan in everything that they do.
Amen.
And I feel like that.
Preach, Pastor.
You are so silly. Stop, boy. I feel
Preach,
like
Pastor.
I feel like that's nobody else should be a bigger fan and bigger support system than you. And I feel like, and that's why a lot of disconnect happens, because people seek that from friends, people seek that from other people, and you're supposed to have it in your own home, in your own space. And I'm so done. I am so done. But yeah.
Boy, you better speak that word. We just came from church today, and Pastor then spilled off on him. You better talk, boy.
Boy, y'all
share that wisdom. Yeah.
But anyways, guys,
we did not practice that either. That came off the fly, honey. That is some stuff you pay for, okay? And y'all getting it for free.
That wraps up our first episode. Jarius, recap our topics again. What we talked about.
So we talked about respect, even when you disagree with each other. We talked about fighting fair, not going below the belt. accepting your partner as they are and not trying to change the core of them. We talked about, talking about like the tough topics that, you really need to discuss and doing it respectfully. And we talked about, responding to each other's need for connection. And then we also talked about making each other feel valued.
So guys, again, this was our first episode. Again, it was on the fly, not rehearsed. The only thing we wrote down was the topic to keep us on track and try to keep things flowing. So don't be too hard on us. We hope you like it. So make sure you drop a comment and let us know what you thought. Make sure you share it because it may help somebody who's in a similar situation.
Share, you better share. Come on now. I ain't even asking for no coin. Share this video.
That's and make sure you click that bell. So what we're gonna aim to do is every Monday. So we're gonna do live on Sundays. Maybe we can get some topics from you guys. We're gonna shoot this probably after our lives on Sundays, and then we'll have it posted on Mondays for you guys. So you can expect a video. Right now we're only planning to do a 10-part series, but depending on how much traction we get, how much love you guys show us,
I thought about it today. You know what? It may be good to do dating too. But this is strictly for, relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
dating is totally different.
It works.
Because some
of these values can be carried over marriage, dating, relationships. So I think it'll help somebody. So that's why we need you guys. But as always, guys, we love you so much. We thank you for all your continued support. Anything that we put out, you guys are brutally honest, and you let us know if you like it or if you hate it. So make sure you give us your honest feedback. We're always looking to improve. But again, we love you. And until next time.
You love me more, though.
Bye.